Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Winnipeg by Night. Episode 1 Sunset. The city of Winnipeg, located in Manitoba, Canada, has a bit of a reputation within the world of darkness. The sad truth of it is, for the longest near period of time, it was claimed as a Camarilla city, though some would say in name only. Under the reign of Prince Dufresne, the city was turned into a meat grinder. Contained a element of instability at all times. Dufresne had made the city into what could be argued as a Darwin machine. Kill or be killed was the lay of the land for a small portion of the city. Gang violence helped cover up many of the more nefarious angles, and a high crime rate certainly made it a lot easier for many to end up being able to cover up the more violent tendencies of its populace. See, as a reputation, those who may be fleeing Camarilla justice and couldn't get off the mainland had a choice: flee south or flee north. And if you fled north, you'd end up in Winnipeg, where it would be presumed that the city would sort you out. The very nature of this city was transformed. A key focal point for hunters, given the international airport, a ability to end up going through the entirety of the central and northern half of the American continent, access to train tracks and highways, made it a perfect intersection for the northern states and across Canada. With a hunter population, there was also a reason for them to be there, and that would come to a surprisingly high werewolf population. The lupines just past the perimeter highway turn this into a potential cage. And so, kindred are often left with a choice to end up making their way or not. Strangely enough, though, in recent years, a sudden power shift has happened. Dufresne is gone. Word say that she had fled outwards to the east. Some whisper the beckoning. Some say it was members of her court that were suffering from it and making her unable to maintain holding power with that ironclad violent rule. Either way, the fact is she's gone. And in this power vacuum, 4 barons have managed to end up finding their place. Baron Silverstein of the Banu Hakim, the Assamite, has managed to take the southern portion of the city, a location where it is truly ironclad. While a baron, her leanings would end up making you end up falling in lockstep in preparation for a potential return of the Camarilla. Baron Matthias, a toreador of note, this rose occupies the central portion of the city. Everything from politics to art, convention centers, the social hub of Winnipeg, its beating heart, seized by a rose. Baron Louis Real figure who has much note in the history of this city and this province. Some end up looking at him as the rightful Baron of Winnipeg, having been the only Baron who has actually been involved in the city since before Dufresne. A fight was to be expected between his forces and Dufresne for the heart of the city. But with the loss of Dufresne now, Louis sees a bout of pretenders. Barons have come in not because they are there to support the anarch cause, but because they saw free real estate and decided to move in to a city he has been fighting to liberate for quite some time. And lastly, Baron Styx, a figure who has managed to end up taking the West End and the airport. Baron Styx of Clan Malkavian is a very odd figure. Trying to understand her motives is like trying to catch the wind. Her motions always seem secretive and erratic, and with good reason. Because the truth is that Baron Styx somehow keeps ending up ahead of the curve. And amongst these 4 baronies, in a city that is very much shattered, divided, a true anarch-free state, we come to end up meeting the coterie Crimson Nightshade. Adder, Ruby, Colton, and Omen, who are going to be our protagonists for this evening. So, as the sun sets, we'd like to welcome you to Winnipeg by night. At this point, I would like to start off the evening proper by asking everybody to give me a rouse check, if you'd be so kind. Ruby's a little hungrier. And remember, everybody's starting hunger was 1 to begin with. We have Omen. There we go. Adder and Ruby, a little hungrier, boosted up to hunger 2. Well, it's not so bad yet. You're still able to keep control of yourselves, and I guess that's for all the better. Mountain Avenue. Not much to look at, really. While it does have its fair amount of ramshackle houses and old apartment buildings, trying to find much of a nightlife out here is difficult. Many houses are being rented out and being left to disrepair. The apartment down the block just burned down. Its empty husk still standing there, foreboding, almost as a testament to the truth of the city. Your domain is yours to do as you wish. But perhaps, little anarchs, I will remind you, there is no Camarilla traditions here. What your location near marks is a simple feeding territory out in the no man's land between the baronies of Styx and Louis. As you end up coming here through your domain, you may end up gathering. Now, if I understood this correctly, in earlier briefs, some of you were more focused on trying to, find a location to meet that was a little bit more open, keeps an eye on things. And so I would imagine a place like Sinclair Park, near the Arlington side of Mountain Avenue, would end up making things a little easier for you. And so our scene begins there, as the coterie, now that they've finally established their domain, ripping it out of the hands of a Nosferatu named Mangle, have an opportunity to catch their breath, have their things moved in, and trying to find out how to really hold this small piece of territory from any others who would dare take it back. Who would be the first to arrive in the park?
It would probably be me.
Now, this figure who walks in, Adder, I would like to. Why don't you describe Adder?
What you see is a a man who stands at about 5'10". He is thin, not not malnourished thin, but athletic maybe. But he kind of hides it uh in baggy clothing, mostly worn in black. The sort of long black hair that he wears kind of also fitting into the aesthetic a little bit to make him look a little like he's just a casual person who wears black. He's got snake bite piercings in his lip. But the most distinguishing feature that you see about him is his eyes are yellow with snake-like slits, and he he's also kind of wearing the T-shirt under his hoodie is for Metallica, because maybe he's a bit of a metalhead. But he's sitting on the bench, waiting for the other members of his coterie to arrive, but also kind of listening out to see if to make sure that Mangle's not going to cause any issues in at the current moment. He's probably still very much on edge because he was here before Dufresne left. And you never know in the mosh pit if somebody was going to jump you that night or not. So that would be my question. How does this neighborhood feel in relation to what I would know as the mosh pit?
Well, it's definitely he used to be a part of it, though that was a Camarilla designation more than anything. You would end up finding. Well, right now, the feeling is a tension. It's like a grenade pin has been pulled, but somebody's still holding it tight, making sure that the latch doesn't come loose. Things can go off at any moment. The irony
It always
is,
felt, I suppose.
the irony is that the calmer it gets, the worse it gets. Like a pressure's being built. As far as the Mountain Avenue domain is concerned, well, Mangle shouldn't be too much of a problem, but then again, he might have taken a bit. There's some hard lumps on the way out. Honestly, he's just lucky that he's not dead at this point. But who knows? After all, there's no traditions to protect against destruction here. It's only what can you claim and what can you keep. But maybe that serves some of you quite well, an adder as you keep an eye out. I would like you to roll me a wits awareness now. Here's a question. Do you
Hmm.
have any form of aspects that you are adding to this? And what power, if so?
I do have heightened senses.
Your choice to add it if you so wish.
I think I will.
Two
Mm,
successes. Are you happy to leave it at that? Or would you like to willpower?
I'm not gonna spend any willpower just yet. Might need it for later.
The air is cold. That's to be expected. You're still coming into a thaw as the springtime starts to extend the days and shorten the nights. But it's still cold. It's still crisp. Thankfully, the problems that you would typically have in feeding in winter here aren't causing much issue. Still, you can still see the dampness on the grass below. You look about and try and see any kind of anomalies. Probably the biggest thing that makes your skin crawl a bit is that smell of burnt wood. The apartment block down or upwind of you, causing you to end up smelling the remains of a fire long since put out, but an ever present reminder of what kind of neighborhood you're in.
Never ever find out who caused it. Was it just a random spark, or was it on purpose?
That is the question. Then
Mm.
again, authorities don't end up releasing much information out. Not ever since Baron Matthias came out. He ended up taking a stranglehold when it ended up coming down to public broadcasts. Very nefarious of him to be able to end up having control over the kind media. But then again, that seems to be his shtick. You might remember out here, back when Dufresne was in control, this place was called the Mosh Pit. That was a pun because Camarilla law didn't extend out here, or more accurately, it just wasn't enforced. It was permitted as a proving ground for those who wanted to end up joining the Camarilla proper, to end up enjoying the hospitality, the wealth, the prestige, the privilege of being able to end up entering high society, starting off as a killer, goon, hired help, and any anarch who ended up popping their head out here was just a trophy to be collected, was just a line on somebody's resume to join their court, making it free game. For a while there, two kindred of note, Decca and Samantha, used to end up using this kind of location as their playground as they ended up trying to tear each other to pieces, and anybody else who was stupid enough to get caught up in the crossfire. They've been at it for decades, not really able to end up finishing it. Both were notoriously hard to kill. Oddly enough, with them being gone, it's not peaceful. It's that on edge, like knowing a hurricane's coming. You just don't know when it's gonna hit.
Like an extended period of time where they've drawn some kind of ceasefire agreement or something, and that's what it feels like.
Even though
Feels
they're no
like just a
longer here.
prolonged sense. They could. Rumor says they're not here, but they could be. There's no way to really know till one of them ends up dead on somebody's doorstep. I doubt it's gonna happen anytime around here.
Yeah. Maybe that's what makes it such a good environment. But you do see movement. Something catches your eye. As another familiar face starts to approach. Who would be joining Adder at this point of the park?
That would likely be Ruby.
Ruby, why don't you describe what it is that Adder would be seeing? Who is Ruby?
True to her name, Ruby has bright red, long hair, kept down for the moment. But like Adder, she is mostly wearing black. Black top, black jeans, black duster style jacket, but leaning more into the goth aesthetic than Adder does. And she is walking very silently, trying not to be really heard by anyone around.
You know, with your feet as quiet as they are, you uh, you might frighten somebody.
That's the point, isn't it?
Honey, you don't want to be speaking up and sneaking up on me. I hope you know that.
Well, with eyes like yours, I'm sure you could see me coming a mile away.
Well, maybe. You never know.
Anything interesting tonight? So far?
What isn't interesting? What's interesting to you would be my better question.
Any sight of you know who?
Mangle?
Mm-hmm.
Not tonight. So far.
Good.
You know, I do my rounds, make sure that I'm in the know so that you can be in the know, so that Owen can be in the know, so that Colton can be in the know. You know, it's kind of what I'm good at.
Hopefully it stays quiet.
It never stays quiet around here, honey. This is Winnipeg.
Well, quiet enough.
You must have a really strange definition of quiet.
The club is quiet to me, honey.
The club? How is that quiet?
It's normal. It's quiet.
Okay, so I think I understand what you're getting at. Normal equals quiet. Anything out of the ordinary doesn't drive with you.
Exactly. You get it. Any idea where those two are anyway?
They're supposed to be here any minute because we did say a little after 9, right?
I believe we did.
I think it's about that time. You kind of see a dude jogging along. You hear music playing more so before you actually see the person. As coming up, you end up seeing a woman. Tall, 6'3", black man, kind of rugged, 5 o'clock shadow, kind of a grayish military jacket, kind of open with cargo pants. You can kind of even see bits of things hanging out of his pocket, even some drumsticks actually, and some strange band tee on. Is that? Uh, sorry. Look at the time. Kind of got caught up in some reading.
Caught
I'm
up
just sleepy late though.
caught up in reading
Yeah,
first thing in the evening.
absolutely. What do
Well,
do you not try to expand your knowledge, my brother?
I mean, I do. Usually tends to be more along the lines of I'm actually talking to people and actually getting the relevant information about what's going on in our local area rather than sticking my head in a book.
Hey, books have just enough knowledge too.
Yeah, but that's not relevant to me right now.
Yeah, to each their
So
own.
well read.
Yeah, that's what I've been taught. Costs a pretty penny too, but I digress on that.
Pocket that for later.
Hmm.
Uh, so that's why you were running, right? You're not actually being tailed. He kind of looks behind Omen to see if there was
Oh,
somebody following him.
yeah. Punctuality isn't my thing. I kind of need to work on that a bit.
We'll be sure to get you an alarm clock.
Something tells me that that's not going to help. Yeah, I've known a lot of your types that show up out of nowhere because you're late, and well,
Eh,
late isn't always great.
I try to minimize that when I can.
Well, you're not terribly late, only by like 10 minutes.
Shit. At least try. Gotta make it 5.
But
Gotta make it 5.
but that's okay. It is okay.
That's better than last time. Last time you were about 20.
Listen, last time I kind of ran into a little trouble at that point. That was not on me.
Omen,
You know,
Omen, real quick. What kind of
Yeah.
trouble did you run into back then?
Back then, kind of ran into a bit of a problem with a little gang. Ended up accidentally walking on the wrong side of the territory. Didn't really pay too much attention when it was walking by. Bumped into one of the members. They started wanting some beef. I didn't really want to put up with it. Tried to de-escalate. It didn't end well.
Well, didn't you just eat him? Your methods of de-escalate seem to end up requiring, as far as I recall, a certain demeanor on whether you're peckish or not.
I tried not to remember that situation, honestly, because it just kind of puts a bad taste in people's mouth.
Not one that bad.
I mean, it was fine for me, but it kind of puts other people off.
do I know that this is the situation that happened?
I would. You know what? Tell you what. Because it's Adder, I'm gonna say yes. And Adder, before you get started, you've been here a long time. Nobody's any better. Let's be real.
No. No, we're not. Doesn't mean I can't have a little fun at his expense.
I try not to make it bloody.
Trouble,
You-
trouble. That's all you ever bring, Omen.
Hey,
You need-
sometimes it's good luck.
Your definition of de-escalate needs a little bit of refining. Maybe you ought to go back to that book.
It helps calm me down, honestly.
Well, that's good.
I usually try to immobilize before breaking bones, actually.
Noted. We'll start carrying books on us when you. That way we can just hand you one when you start getting too angry.
Ooh, shiny.
Actually, joke's on you. I have one right now.
Why
am I not
surprise
surprised? I'm not surprised at all.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with reading on the go.
As long as you're not driving. Let's not cause any car accidents, all right?
Listen, it's not as bad as texting, Mr. Edwin. Don't get me started on those kind of people.
You mean to tell me that you read and drive at the same time? How? I cannot even fathom how that's even possible.
Multitasking is a wonderful thing, honestly.
Audiobooks, yes. Reading a book.
Audiobooks are not the same thing as having a physical copy in your hand.
While I agree with reading while driving, I'm not getting in a car with you anytime soon. No, thank you.
Listen, we only have a certain time throughout the night, okay? I still gotta keep up some of my normal routine.
That's why you use audiobooks.
Or you
Shit.
could just
Simple.
ask
Topic.
about certain things too.
Mhm.
I mean, you kinda have a point.
I tend to have a lot of those.
I
As
think
do we all.
I think that's when we're gonna introduce our fourth member into this. As fun as it is to end up listening to Omen try and squirm his way into the logistics of being able to read while on the go in a high traffic area, I think we're going to have to end up enjoying the final member of our coterie tonight. Colton, why don't you describe what it is that people would see when you first come in?
Well, Colton, he's a very rugged looking man. Not he's kind of tall and lanky. He's stocky, but you wouldn't peg him for a musclehead. He has long hair on the top pulled back into a ponytail with shaved sides. Usually wearing some kind of a leather or a Carhartt jacket with a hoodie underneath. Always has a backpack on him. And always has a very large white dog with him. And he is, if I can, I think he would have been. Is there woods around us?
Not many.
Okay.
If the trees, if anything, are not so much thick as so much as decorative. When we talk about park, we're talking about a city park, more
Okay.
meant
I didn't know
for
how.
more meant for children to be able to end up playing with a soccer ball than it does actually thick woodland area. And
I just wanted to be in a little spot where I've been watching and seeing what's going on and noticing everybody's there. Just start moseying over.
definitely your canine companion would definitely end up standing out more, maybe and almost as akin to announce your presence as it starts to end up wandering over. You guys see Colton now joining you, completing the quartet.
Good
Welcome.
evening.
Well, now my night's complete.
Hmm.
All my boys are here.
Oh, you
Oh,
can't
shit.
keep me away that much. Oh, what's on the agenda for tonight?
Well, it's kind of up to you all. There's a bit of a scent of burnt wood and concrete on the air that I still haven't gotten around to investigating yet. That I might be looking into here relatively soon, as certainly don't want that to be some kind of note from our disgruntled Nosferatu friend. I want to make sure that that's actually just a human endeavor, whether it's arson or an accident.
Well, if you need, me and Earl can put our nose to the ground and see what we can come up with you.
Honestly, that
Well,
ties into me wanting to kind of check out the domain, honestly.
well, don't everybody go to the crime scene at once, 'cause it draws so much attention.
Well,
Well,
we can
what do
split
you
up.
know, Colton? What do you know that I don't know?
Hmm. About this place, probably nothing, but
What would you? What? Uh, let's start off on the right foot here. Yeah, Colton. So you
okay.
say you've been in this domain for just a little while. You're still feeling it out, and what have you. So, what
Yeah.
is something you would like to know about the domain?
Um, given how he operates, he would have probably like the one thing that he would have scouted is all the greatest high vantage points where he can observe things.
Mm, okay. Um, give me give me a roll of resolve intelligence plus lane, which I believe is a 2.
Can I blood search this?
If you so choose.
I will because this is something that he will definitely want, and I don't have the greatest dice pool. So,
It's quite all right. This is mostly being pulled from memory, hence why an intelligence resolve. Still, 4 successes. That's quite
Ooh,
impressive.
let me
juicy.
Do
do
you,
my rouse check.
okay? Would you like to willpower that those last 2 normal dice, or would you be comfortable with 4?
I go up 1 hunger. You know what? Like I said, this is important to him. I'm going to willpower the 2 dice.
Okay, understandably so. 5
5.
successes. Colton, if the area is a high vantage point, you can gain it. The Hauer building, which was basically an apartment complex, has recently burnt down. Frustration for you, mostly, it might end up stemming from the fact that it was sitting right along the edge of Mountain Avenue, giving you a really good ability to look up and down the entire street and be able to end up at least being able to see what was coming and going. With it being burnt out, while you would be able to climb up in the husk on it, it's probably going to have to be torn down sometime soon. Fire broke out 2 nights ago, and yet still the smell lingers in the air. As far as other high vantage points, because of the development of this location, there's really not a lot of high locations, but that's to be expected. Winnipeg is not a city that built up. Only a handful of towers really stand out. The rest might be only built up a few stories high. The city, after all, has taken advantage of the fact that it's out in the prairies, building outward wider than it does high. Probably the one saving grace for vampires who are particularly territorial. But the downside is a lot of the city's domains don't have a lot of blood to them. Feeding is sparse in the best of times, and well, thankfully, you have crossed over into spring. Winter has left many hungry, with very few people going out at night and very few people wandering the street. More than a few of the homeless population may have found themselves buried in snowfall, frozen stiff, unbeknownst to many, drained dry, as they may have been the only opportunity to feed in weeks.
Hmm. Oh, I don't know what I could tell you. I do know what I lost when that building burned to the ground, but... I don't think I could tell you anything you didn't know already. I haven't been here as long as you have.
Well, I wasn't specific with my question. I just said, tell me something I don't know. But I understand
Okay.
the confusion. And you say you lost something when that building went up?
Yes, it was one of my favorite vantage points.
Vantage points are nice. Sucks. Sucks that that's not one of them.
If you just wanted to know something random that you didn't know, my favorite color is pink.
Noted.
Seriously?
Really?
Yes.
You don't strike me as the pink kind of guy.
Hey,
Stand out.
it can be manly to wear pink, right?
I have no opposition to the color pink, especially if you pair it with black on a really pretty dress. But
I
I
don't think I
wouldn't
could pull
have.
off the dress.
You can't, but I can.
Goddamn.
That being said, I've only seen you in a couple of different outfits, Colton, and all of them kind of look the same. So it takes me by surprise.
Yeah, my clothes are more for blending in, toned down. Probably why that's my favorite color, because it's louder than I ever get to wear.
Well, if you ever find yourself in the club scene, you could always change that. Not that there's really a whole lot of clubs on Mountain Avenue, I don't think.
Come over to the
Colton's just
crib
going to
where
go
it
over and sit next to, sit on one of the benches and just call Earl over and just kind of start petting him, watching and seeing whatever we're going to do for the night.
Well, that's on my agenda. What about you, Ruby?
I was gonna go check it out as well. Doesn't sit right with me.
Have you never heard of an accidental fire or an arson before?
I do. I have. I have caused a couple in my day.
Oh. I bet that's an interesting story for maybe another time.
Another time, yes. I just don't like the fact it's on the edge of our new territory. Especially given the trouble we've had with Mangle.
Well, given that we ousted him out of this little piece of territory, turf, however we want to call it now, um, I don't think he's going to be coming directly after us anytime soon. I would like to keep that to a minimum, even if it's social spats too. Um, he and I don't get along.
Gee, I wonder why.
I mean,
Well,
well,
at that point, I kind of want to personally just take a close look at it.
at a burnt out building.
Hell yeah.
Why would you be interested in a burnt out building? That's curious, Mr. Bookworm.
Well, one, you can learn a lot of stuff at the aftermath of an incident. Because some people try to hide shit in the remnants of the world coming down around them. So,
How
could
good
have
at
been
our?
electric.
I
Could have been
I know.
electrical fire. Could have been. You never know.
Well, I know Ruby can walk very quietly. What about you two?
I mean, I'm decent.
Define decent.
I think it'd be pretty quiet, I suppose.
Colton's just going to smile.
Just remember to shut your music off, Omen.
Oh, yeah. And you see him actually kind of just turn down the music on his headphones right now.
I'm surprised you can actually hear us through that.
Yeah. Selective hearing is the greatest ability ever. Honestly.
I will take you at your word for that. All right. Well, it's a couple blocks down that way. So, shall we go one at a time? I mean, we don't necessarily need to drive.
Hey, I don't
Cool.
want to stroll.
Now Colton will go up and like walk a different way to get there from a different angle, so that we don't all follow down the same street.
Ruby's going to do the same, but at a different angle than Colton.
I'm kind of just going to walk plainly down the street.
And I will be trying to be a little stealthy and
No.
stay in the shadows.
Yeah. Ruby's just popped silence of death. You can't hear her footsteps at all.
We can be grateful for small favors. So with that in mind,
Same for Adder, actually.
the Howard apartment block. You can end up looking above and end up seeing exposed charred beams that used to hold this facility together. Combination of concrete and wood now standing there like a charred skeleton husk, what once was a home to many. That smell, burnt wood, and other things, still lingers in the air. Your beast inside might end up wanting to fight instinctually a bit, makes you a little bit uncomfortable. Not out of control, but ever-present warning. After all, where there's smoke, there's fire, and that's what you can still smell, even after all this time. Pools of water can be found on the ground, showcasing the remains of the firefighters who've put out the building. And as you end up looking at it, tape seals off the entrance with little more. They haven't even had time to board it up. You can see the remains of an investigation that has long since passed. And when you end up approaching the building, you don't see much getting in the way of you entering it. Then again, who knows what's squatting in there now? Because after all, who comes to look at burnt down apartment buildings in the dead of night?
For myself, I will also be using Eyes of the Beast to be able to see in the very dark spots of the apartment building as well, kind of giving a red glow to his yellow eyes, so that he could see in the dark.
Same would Joe for Colton. He would use Eyes of the Beast as well.
Ruby would be popping heightened senses.
What about Omen? Omen, you have anything particularly going, or are you just trying to use your cell flashlight?
All I got is a cell phone, man.
in the world of supernatural creatures who have become very adept at hunting at night, sadly, those gifts were never passed to you. However, you start to approach quiet. You get towards the entrance. Right away, I would like a. What's academics, actually? Or no, what's craft?
From home.
Anybody who wants to end up making an observation.
I will.
I don't have arts and craft. I don't think I'd be a good fit for that.
I don't either, unfortunately.
Me either.
2 successes. Colton, it doesn't take a genius to imagine that this place is ready to collapse in on itself. Whatever's holding, you can already see floors have pulled into each other. Floors have collapsed head down, and, well, going in there might be a risk all unto itself. Not surprising. It's not like anybody's had time to tear it down. You can still, well, it's a very fresh location, shall we say. But you'd be aware you'd want to end up going there in caution, because maybe nothing's in there trying to kill you, but the building itself might try anyway.
Colton will just look around, kind of pacing. Well, if we want to go in there, it's going to be dangerous.
Yeah. I'm just more curious as to what exactly caused the fire myself. Find the source of it, sort of thing. If it hasn't already been picked up by the authorities.
I'm going to look down to Earl and get Earl to see if he can smell anything, and ask him to kind of just do a little walk around the perimeter, see if he can pick anything up that smells strange.
You don't even need to ask. You can already see the fur on the back end is already up. He's on high alert. He does not like the smell of this place. Fire's not usually a problem for dogs. Usually they...
Well, I have feral whispers. Can I ask him what he's got?
You can use a rouse check.
Well, can't you do it for free to your familiars?
Oh yeah, you can. Yes, you can.
Benefits of having a familiars.
Yeah.
Earl, yeah, he doesn't like this one bit. Something's not right here. Something vicious. Something cruel. Something feral. It smells like rage. Something burned into the wood, maybe, and the broken concrete. But something's here. It's old. It's angry. You can still smell it as an after scent. It might not be here, but there's still something in there that's angry. Whatever that smell is. Barely. To him, it almost seems as obvious as you staring into headlights. And it's got him on edge.
I'll just give him a couple of pats as a good boy. There's something in there that he doesn't like. I don't know if it's a remnant or what.
Hearing that, Ruby is going to switch from heightened senses to sentient seeing.
Roll me a wits aspects, please. That's not a crit, is it? Nope.
No. Thank God.
That is 3 successes. 3 successes. Ruby, your senses change. It's nice to be able to see in 4K, but sometimes it's the things that people don't see that are just as important. You kind of look, and you see like what can only be described as an after image. You look as something pounds on ethereal glass down below. Human hands gripping on, busting through glass that has been broken a long time ago, gripping hold of the bars, face pressed against it, trying to yell an after image of what once was. As maybe they're burning, but the fear in their eyes is all too real. There's something else. It's almost like the building is consumed with fire again. It's not a fire like you would see in a campfire or even a burning building. No, this is something that is filled with hate.
There's some kind of after image of someone trapped below, but it's fire. Nothing good.
You mean somebody didn't escape during the fire?
And she's going to point down to where she had seen the person pounding on the glass.
Adder, you see old bars, the type that stop people from breaking into basement apartments. Broken glass, nothing too shocking. Either the fire burned it out or it's been gone a while, you're not sure. But you can definitely see that the glass is burst out. Then again, go ahead.
They were afraid.
But yeah, fire does that.
There's more to it than that. There's a rage left behind. And it almost still seems to be consuming this place like the fire did.
What do I know about the history of this apartment complex?
Okay. Give me a intelligence. Oh, okay. Here's a question. You say history specifically, right? Are you talking official history, or are we talking about alternative histories?
Probably more along the lines of superstitions, things like that.
Roll me a intelligence occult plus lane, because this is your location.
Could I
want to
assist in
assist.
that?
No, you would not be able to assist. This is strictly on Adder's knowledge.
Okay.
Okay, and lane is 2. Okay. Yeah, I kind of lived in this area a little while, so I might know.
3's not bad.
Ooh.
That's not a crit, but
No.
3's not bad.
Yeah.
You happy with that roll, Adder? Or are you wanting to spend willpower?
I think I'm happy with that.
All right. This area, back in the day, used to end up belonging to Samantha, a member of the Camarilla who, well, word was this masked woman was Clan Gangrel, though you wouldn't know it. Gangrel can produce claws. Her There was no claws, not in the traditional sense. No, it was more akin to Freddy Krueger handmade cold steel rather than ferocity, shall I say. These used to be her stomping grounds. She was known to be a particular sadist, liking to toy with her hunt. More than a few times, she would have ended up dragging people off into, well, what was whispered secret abodes, places to hide, places where screaming wouldn't be noticed, where everybody would be too scared to report in. When it comes to this building, well, you know this much. Having an apartment complex in your domain definitely helps for feeding purposes. But if there's any connection, you're not sure.
Well, if this belonged to who I think it belonged to, now that I'm looking at it, makes sense. I'm not exactly the most superstitious of people, but yeah, if this was occupied by a person that I think it might have been, that would make all the sense in the world.
So you're saying that person might not even been connected to the fire?
Oh no, they're long gone. Been gone for years now. A couple of years. Somewhat like 5, something like that. They've been long gone. No, if this place was even used a little bit by this person, I know for a fact that strong emotions do linger in places. That much I know about. But I'm not privy to that. But if you're picking up on those kind of vibes, yeah, I'm not surprised.
It does make sense, at least.
So I guess now the question is, who's going inside?
I volunteer first.
I was about to say I'll do it.
I was going to say I'll do it because I am the
Same here.
sneakiest out of all of you.
I don't know. I can
Yes,
put a
sir.
run for your money. The only thing you got on me is obfuscate.
I am the slithering snake.
Hmm.
Very well then.
I'll let Colton go first if he wants to be the big man about it, though.
Alright, let's go with Colt.
He's stupid enough.
Please. Earl coming in with you?
No, I'm going to have Earl sit down. I don't want to put him in danger. It's the one thing if I get hurt. Anybody hurt my dog, well, you've seen John Wick.
Well, when you start to step in, he's growling in protest.
I'll just look at him. I'll be okay, Earl. Lord, warn me if anything comes.
A low bark is his sole response. But he ain't happy about it.
Earl is protective.
Blood bond tends to do that. So when you end up entering, you just duck under the tape. Yeah, the doors are locked, but the glass is long since shattered and the hinges have been busted down. You more crawl over the door than start to enter. You see a hallway. Stands from side to side down the length building with a stairwell just in front to get to the next floors. This place is about 5 stories high. When you end up looking about, you can kind of see it. This place would have been run down even when it wasn't set on fire. Just even the architecture just radiates something that was built in the 1920s, 1930s. A lot of renovation, peeled plaster. You can still feel a dampness on your feet as you end up stepping onto charred carpet that has been hosed down. You can still hear the leaking of water.
I'm quietly slinking in after him as he's going into the place. Still got eyes of the beast
I'm
on.
going to stay close to the walls and check my footing as I go.
Okay.
But looking for the way down to the basement, because that's where the people said things were happening.
Okay.
Ruby
Adder,
is
you're
following
falling
behind
behind.
Adder.
Okay. Omen, what are you
And
doing?
she's.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ruby.
Oh, I was just going to say she's leaving Cynthia's.
Omen would be keeping an eye outside, more so kind of checking out what's around the outer perimeter, kind of, and knowing now that there are some spirit type shit going on, he's going to use Sense the Unseen as well.
You can see it on. This place radiates with a ferocity. There's just something in the air here. You can almost hear it whisper that it wants you dead.
Too late for that.
So let's go in order. Colton, I would like a dexterity athletics. Just to be sure of your footing, to not maybe accidentally put too much weight on the wrong portion. You all see Colton being fairly cautious about this.
Oh.
Oh.
Will you accept that roll, or will you want to willpower that? Because that is a bestial failure.
I think I'm definitely willpowering that.
5 dice,
Alright.
no successes with a 1 on your hunger dice. Yeah, I'd say this would be an opportune time.
1
single
Changes it to
success.
what?
And at the very least, it changes it to that you're not going to be suffering a compulsion. Ruby, you said that you have
Sense the Unseen.
Sense the Unseen. Ruby, you see Colton. Colton's actually doing a hell of a job. He is actually very sure to check his hip footing. And then you hear a creak. The creak doesn't come from below Colton. It comes from above. As Colton, you end up trying to end up getting out of the way. You end up seeing the ceiling above collapse. The beams push down and force you to the side. The floor gives way as you dodge out to be hurt. And you fall into dark. Ruby, that's not what you see. You see almost as though it's an ethereal hand, the size of a man, made of rage, an ethereal specter, clawed and large and powerful, shoved the remains of the upper floor down upon Colton, like as if it was trying to crush him like a bug. Colton, you fall hard.
If think I'm going to take damage, would I have time to activate a power?
What power were you thinking?
Toughness.
Okay. It would be I believe it's a wits. I forget what the other one is. Give me a sec.
Yeah, there is
There is one that gives you a chance.
a reaction. Yeah. And if you're successful, the power does go off on a reaction.
Yep.
Okay, I didn't know if that was one of these.
What
I
was
just know if I'm going to get hurt, I might as well try to reduce the damage.
Just not to be bogged down in rules, we'll double check it, but I'm pretty sure it's wits fortitude.
Wits fortitude. Okay. So we will do wits, and then discipline, and roll. 3 successes.
How many dots you have? You have at least 2, right?
I have 3.
You have 3? Okay, yes. Then you reduce all of that damage down to just one single hit. Yeah. One single superficial wound.
Okay.
I'm going to carefully look over and see if I can see into that basement to see if he's okay.
Yeah, you can. Though that's
I mean, I have eyes to the
He's kind of just like grabbing his arm, like, watch it. This place is a mind of its own.
Noted. I kind of look down into the hole because I have eyes of the beast popped. I can see in the dark. Do I see him? Do I see that he's okay? More or less.
He's going to be okay. He looks like he took a hell of a fall. Falling 12 feet into burnt out rubble that has crashed upon a good portion of him. Colton, you feel yourself covered in pieces of charred wood and debris, crashing hard on pavement.
I don't see an exit wound out his chest, do I?
No.
Good.
No.
I'm going to just kick it off of me and kind of look around and see what I see.
Careful.
Colton, you look up and you have eyes of the beast right now, right?
Yes.
You can see it. It's a form just through the next room. It's huge. So big it can't get through the door, at least at first, but when you see it, those eyes, that thing's not human. Its eyes are just red, pouring some kind of ethereal smoke. Its jaws open, its teeth the size of your forearm. You see it. Those claw marks in the door frame. You hear a low groan. You all hear the apartment shift. And then, it's gone. Like as if maybe you just took a hit to the head. No, something was there just now.
Colton would draw his sidearm and start clearing the area, looking for whatever the hell that was. see if he can see anything down here.
Adder, Ruby, you end up seeing Colton draw a weapon.
Oh,
He starts moving forward.
Colton? What do you see, bud?
If I could describe it, I would. Something was down here. Be careful. I'm gonna look for a
Ruby.
way back up.
Ruby, you said something about bad vibes, right?
Yeah, and considering that that wasn't just the building giving out that caused them to be down there. Remember what I said about this place having a mind of its own?
Yeah, I think we need an exorcist.
An old priest and a young priest.
Hi. I know
Omen.
one.
Omen earlier said they heard the apartment groan, and that is not a local phenomenon. As you hear it, you hear as though the apartment itself is maybe something shifted. You hear a crash. You might end up. You hear the whimpering of Earl. Then you hear something else. You hear the groaning of wood, but something's off about it. It's not like walking on old floorboards. No, this is something else. Something feels less like a apartment, more like a howling rage.
Definitely not good. Should probably get the others out.
What do you do, Omen?
Damn it, old man, if we're only here. Omen would start to go in after hearing that. With since the unseen still up, kind of looking out for movement.
You look for sense. You're doing sense the unseen. Roll me a wits plus aspects real quick, would you, Omen?
Yeah. Not the best at this, honestly. But honestly, I'd rather not get surprised. Motherfucker, I'm re-rolling that.
That is 4 dice with no successes.
I'm re-rolling.
Oh, God.
I'm
Pretty sure
re-rolling.
Derek touched mine and all those dice.
Well, my name is Omen for a reason.
Willpower of 2. Tell you what, Omen. You don't see anything, but you feel it. You feel it in the back of your neck. Like you're expecting teeth to just chomp down and bite right through your hip, the vertebrae. At malevolent intent. Something is watching. Something knows you're here. And it knows just how to kill you.
Bad fucking vibes, man. Bad fucking vibes. Hey, guys, y'all okay in there?
We're
You got it.
alive.
Just peachy.
Ruby?
Kind of think we should leave.
Ruby?
Yeah.
Adder? What are you doing right now? Colton's in the basement.
I'm kind of looking down at Colton as he's kind of moving towards whatever he's moving towards, and I'm kind of shouting at him a little bit. Hey, I think we're gonna get out of here. Let's get out of here and get a professional on this.
I'm looking for a way up.
Ruby is looking around the immediate area.
Ruby, you already rolled, so I don't mind telling you this. There is something upstairs just above you. You're not sure what it is. It's more like wisps of red. An afterimage of something. Strange as it sounds, it feels like the apartment itself is stalking you. An old
Try and host you up, Colton.
Colton, you're downstairs, pistol in hand. Cold iron feels at least reassuring. That need to fight, to be ready. There's something familiar about this ever since the night you returned. But then again, your instincts, perhaps given your clan, you're able to really understand the nature of predator, prey. In many ways, you are always the predator. That thing that feeds on the blood of the living, looks for the opportunity to extend fangs and pierce flesh. And really, in this exact moment, maybe a little bit of fear or excitement, take your pick, can be found. You almost wish you still had a heartbeat to feel it proper. But all you're dealing with here, if you really think about it, is just two predators meeting each other for the first time. That's what this really is, isn't it? I mean, when you really think about it.
I'm gonna look around, see if I see anything of note
Okay, are you
while I'm looking.
So are you just like casually observing with your eyes, or are you actually like trying to dig through stuff?
If there's anything that looks like there's something could be of note of another thing, I'll kick over a few piles, but I'm looking for an exit to get back upstairs as well.
Roll me a wits investigation.
I can't help him just by observing up here, can I?
No, you can't. You two are separated, and he's walking in deeper. Colton, you have a single success. Now you can willpower that if you so choose, or you can succeed at a cost.
Alright, Mr. ST, what is the cost? I'd like to know before I bite.
Ruby's gonna join you. Not willingly.
Well, I kind of want to find something worth down here. Sorry, Ruby. But
Honestly,
sport.
she was thinking about joining anyway. So
Ruby, I am going to ask for a Dex Athletics. You
this is
will.
gonna be an instant fail.
I am just going to make. I want to know on how much damage you actually take. You are going to take at least one superficial blood.
Can I rouse for this?
You can. I'll give you the option to do so. You don't get hungrier, so there's a bonus on that. As the blood, almost like you're alive, you know, that sudden moment of panic.
Uh-oh.
So that's one, reducing 5 to 4, then half, making 2 superficial. Ruby, your attention is brought on when Colton lifts something. You're not sure what it is. And then, Adder, you suddenly hear a roar. Is that a. You turn and you realize that the floor splits under Ruby. But it's not like the floor is given away, it's more like the edges of the floor have reached up, snatching like a jaw as Ruby is suddenly collapsed and pulled under into the basement, hitting the concrete floor. Ruby, pieces of the floor stuck in you, piercing that wonderful corset you wear, crashing, revealing underneath that beautiful pale skin is nothing but something that's rotten and unholy.
I like my clothing torn, but come on now. You gotta give a girl a chance.
Two
Ruby?
down.
I'm okay.
Colton,
Just
you turn when Ruby falls through as you pass through into the next room looking for an exit. And when you turn, you see it. You see a room where a chunk of the wall has been torn out. The rebar poking out like as if it has been mangled and not from force of impact. You can see chains, shackles. You look along the walls and you can see long claw marks. A swipe that would vivisect a man in 4 different places. The span of the hand to do this would be as wide as your entire upper torso. The shackles, though, are the size of a man. Ruby, you can sense the unseen, and you see it. People being pulled after images of people screaming in silence as they are dragged by unknown powers, unknown figures, dragged as they're ripping out their fingernails trying to stop, as they're being pulled into the room that Colton finds himself in now.
she's going to make her way into that room, following the after images.
Colton's going to look around in disgust, figuring what has transpired here.
So much fear, so much rage and pain. It's no wonder this place is alive.
Adder, what are you doing right now?
I'm pulling out my cell phone and I'm calling Preacher.
You call. You call. And as soon as the line picks up, you hear a growling. The sound of things being torn, the sound of people screaming. You hear a howling, chains rattling. sudden, hear a piercing scream. Not me. Not me.
Okay. Okay. If that's how we're gonna do it. All right. Oh, I could really use the old man's help. He might have an idea what to do about this, but I guess it's just get out. Yeah, it's just get everybody out. I am going to uh I'm going to search the upstairs for the stairs that would lead up to this floor.
Doesn't take much. It's right in front of you. The stairs to go up are right in the front. The long hallway that goes along the length of the building, so you can end up going up. What are you looking for, Anna? What are you hoping to find as you go up?
No, I'm not going up. I want to find a way for them to come up to this floor.
Okay, that's a different story. So the stairs to get up onto this floor aren't obvious in that regard. So I'm going to end up asking you for a resolve. And I'm going to ask for a resolve and investigation. And while you make that roll, I'm going to continue on with Colton and Ruby. Ruby, you see this. Colton, you see this. And Adder, I see your roll. If you want, you can willpower that if you're trying to really help in that regard.
Yes.
So, Colton, Ruby, you found this location. What do you see? What are you thinking? What are you doing? Maybe it was insanity to come here.
Ruby is both slightly frightened by the feelings that she's been picking up, but she's also fascinated by what she's seeing. All the after images, the silent screams. She's going over to the wall with chains and just studying them a little bit.
Well,
trying to figure out more about what may have happened down there. She's got a feeling what was going on, but
roll me a. Well, I'll tell you what. What do you think happened down here?
well, first off, obviously owned by some different kindred. Or at least that's what she's picking up on. The rage leading into that. But she's not sure if the rage is fully theirs, or if they picked up something that they weren't expecting. Like, she knows there's werewolves in the territory, that maybe they might have picked one of them. And seeing the claw mark on the wall just kind of leads her into that theory.
Alright. Give me then a investigation. Or, investigate plus willpower, and I'm willing to give you a +2 because of what you've stated.
Investigate plus willpower.
You mean wits?
Or wits, thank you.
I was about to say that's a little confusing there.
No, my brain, I'm so focused on all the little threads of this that I'm...
Yeah.
Okay, +2. Ruby? The thing about the shackle you'll notice is that it has a lot of charred skin to it, but it wasn't touched by the fire here. The fire might have happened a little bit upstairs or a little bit out, but in this room, what you see is charred near flesh, and you realize that inside the shackle is a small strip. And between the bits of char, you can see the sheen of perfect silver.
Colton,
Yes.
come here for a second.
He'll be looking around and he'll walk over.
Am I seeing in the shackle what I think I'm seeing?
And Colton will reach down and pick it up and take a closer look. Would he confirm the same thing?
You would.
No.
I think we just found some we weren't wholly prepared for. And she's going to look around again,
Yeah, I would as well.
just trying to pick up on anything out of the ordinary.
You look, Ruby, as you can see it. It's huge. Just outside the door. Peeking around the corner, those eyes ethereal, red and glowing with hatred. The teeth as long as Colton's forearm. It's though it could threaten to eat this room in a single bite.
Oh, you're a big boy, aren't you?
And at that point, it lunges forward, but you do not end up seeing it near collide with the wall. It starts to walk through it. Its body starting to near past the size of the room. How this, whatever this was, how could it have been contained here? I need you both to end up rolling me a fear frenzy.
Okay. And how does that work? Is it I just hit frenzy?
Yep.
Yeah.
This is going to be kind of funny. My willpower's not all that high.
And then it's whatever is not checked off, right?
That is correct.
And then humanity.
Yeesh.
Ruby, your beast takes you. You feel it. You need to get out of here. Instinctually, you end up trying to reach, and you go towards what is the smallest window. Your hand reaching through the broken glass as you start to end up hissing and howling, trying to end up getting out, reaching, clawing your hand raking on broken glass, trying to claw your way through between the bars to try and get out of here. Colton, you stand firm, but you feel it. Your beast wants no part of this thing. It might be the smell of the ash in the air, the charred remains of the building, the apartment complex. But you try and stand firm. What do you do, Colton, as you see Ruby here start to lose herself in her beast?
Do I see a direction that she would be fleeing from?
No, you are both in a room. There is a window behind you and the door this thing's coming through.
I don't see it.
Yep, you don't. That's correct. You don't see it. Not at this point, anyway. You had a glimpse of it, but not
whatever spooked her. I would try to put myself in between, like just basically guard her gun up, and like try to see if anything's coming, And if I don't see anything, then eventually would probably try to grab her and get us out.
Omen, you remember that window that Ruby was pointing to earlier on?
Yep.
It's almost prophetic, isn't it? Makes you wonder if what she said she saw wasn't in the future, or wasn't in the past, but her future. As you hear her and her fangs are out, she is trying to get out. She is in an utter panic, and loud enough that even Adder can hear.
Shit.
Okay. Gonna try to. These are bars cemented together.
Yeah,
Built into the cement, yeah.
the bars are anchored right into the concrete. This was meant to make sure it kept people out. Surprisingly, it also works as a cage to keep people in.
Shit. Even if I remove the bars, will she be able to climb out, actually?
If you think you can remove the bars, that'll be an impressive feat.
Um,
But she's also in frenzy right now, and that is plainly evident on her face.
yeah, I'm gonna try to remove the bars. Probably not gonna go.
All right. I'm going to ask for a strength athletics.
Gonna rouse for prowess.
All right.
A little bit
A
hungry.
little hungrier.
Alright, so. Strength. Let's see.
Ooh, there is a 10 there.
I'll
Four's not going to
reroll.
cut it, but I'll
Yeah,
tell you
I'll
what.
reroll
Hold
some.
on. I don't mind you trying this. I want, however, Omen to know, do you want to willpower this? Or do you want to succeed at a cost? Succeed at a cost is there is going to be somebody else on the premises. Somebody I may have already hinted at earlier. After all, you're all on your lonesome.
You know what? Sure. Give me the extra person.
Oh, no.
We'll see how this goes.
Very well then. Omen, you rouse the blood. You command it to end up bolstering the muscle. Reinforce bone as you try and end up grabbing hold of the bars. Ruby at this point is clawing at you, trying to grab hold of you to pull herself out or maybe pull you in. The difference at this point is purely academic. As you start to end up pulling and ripping the bars out, you hear a roar. A powerful roar, the twisting of metal. Except that roar isn't. That's not the house. That is something far more mechanical in nature. Ruby, Owen, I'm going to end up asking you both to make me a Dex Athletics, and Omen, I'm going to need you to be at a -1 because you've already taken an action this turn.
I can't rouse for this in frenzy, can I?
You're not in control of your beast at this point. You can spend a willpower if you want to take control this turn, but
I think I will.
What was the roll again?
I need a Dex Athletics.
Dex Athletics.
So I am
Can
definitely
my
out for this again.
can my rapid reflexes help me here?
Yes, they can actually.
Oh baby.
Have I been able to find the stairs yet? Leading
No,
down?
not just yet. Not just yet. We'll be getting to you shortly after because you're all by your lonesome in the remain of the Hauer apartment block.
That's
So it's
true.
gonna be fun.
Oh, I don't like being by myself anymore.
Ruby, you got 3. You got 2. Omen, you only got 2, so you are going to take 1 point of superficial damage. As you end up hearing it, Ruby, you pull yourself over as you pull up, and then you realize what you're seeing is headlights. The roar of an engine. A car is speeding, redlining towards you. You have just enough time to try and force yourself to get in control. Unfortunately, this means you need to springboard off of Omen to get out of the way. Omen, you were suddenly pulled back as the bars finally give way. You end up seeing Ruby starting to end up crawling on top of you, the frenzy in her eyes giving way to an illumination. But that illumination is not coming from her eyes. Instead, it's getting brighter and brighter as she kicks off of you.
Oh, you
Just
gotta
long
be
enough
shitting me.
for you to end up seeing a bumper careen into the side of your head, sending you flying onto the hill walkway as the car speeds off. A hit and run, and clearly intentional, as you end up seeing the tires chew through the grass front. Your bells rung. That could have been so much worse. Colton, you stand in the way as you end up seeing Omen rip the bars out, offering you a chance for escape. As you see a car suddenly swerve by, the sickening thud of skull meeting metal at high velocity. And then nothing. What are you doing, Colton?
If I don't see anything coming, I'd probably holster my weapon and then like grab the top of the door frame and pull myself out, like reversed.
Talking about the window frame to get out?
Yeah.
Leaving one more inside this little slice of hell. Adder, you are currently walking, trying to end up finding yourself in this location. You find the walkway down as you hear a roar of is that a car? A thud happens. But you see it. The stairway down at the end of the hall. Probably not for apartment blocks down here. Probably for maintenance and storage. The stairs are old and rickety. Almost placed as an afterthought compared to what this place might have been at one point. What are you thinking, Adder?
Do I hear Colton, Ruby at all? anymore.
No. You're a significant distance down the hall. They're currently outside and well, combination of downstairs and outside at this exact moment.
I heard a car. Not exactly in the, not exactly thinking I want to shout down this place, because I don't know who's going to be stopping and or starting about coming in here. Already feeling very hungry, and already feeling like I'm in over my head. This was not what I signed up for today. But I need to get out of here. This is not looking good, and I don't want to be here anymore, so I'm going to rouse for unseen passage. Clutch. Not hungrier. And I am leaving. I'm kind of circling the building before I do, but I'm leaving this premises.
Adder, you can hear the creaking of the floorboards like a heavy weight is upon them. You hear the snarling. And then you see it. Claw marks suddenly shred into the wall from nowhere. And then another. And then another that appears not more than a few inches away from your head, but you feel nothing. Doesn't know you're there still. Or is this thing simply raging at the missed opportunity to close in for the kill?
What's this, Samantha? She finally gonna start taking heads. This is how she plays. Sort of. Or did. She did like to toy with things from rumors. And I'm not exactly holding it together very well.
You're pretty close on the edge of fear frenzy yourself. And I think that would be understandably so.
Mm-hmm. Because I've seen her claws.
Let's rewind time for a second there, Adder. You said you've seen her. Blonde hair, pale mask, hiding all of her features. Her hands covered in long blades. You can see the nails used to drive the blades into bone, making them permanent features of herself. What happened when you first met Samantha?
Well, I'm not exactly a accepted member of the Camarilla court when it comes to my clan. So, Preacher and I usually keep things on the down low and stay out of sight as much as possible. It's kind of important during the early years of my embrace. But one night I fucked up. And I was standing face to face with her that night. I still don't know why to this day she let me live. Or if she even saw me. I wasn't as good as sneaking around as I am now.
No.
Then.
Wasn't she busy with somebody else? Small Nosferatu, who she was peeling away at. The one that she started to carve to pieces. silent. He was begging to end up telling him what was happening. He said that he didn't know that was Camarilla turf. And she just kept peeling. Bits of them falling off as ash as you hid. Did she let you go? Or did she make you watch as she started forcing bits of him down his own esophagus? Just to keep him quiet long enough to give her a little bit more playtime.
He's gone. She's gone. She's gone. She can't hurt you. Telling myself that over and over in my head as there's obvious claw marks now appearing in front of me in the concrete.
And I want you, Adder, to roll me a intelligence investigation.
We're decent at these. I need to be more decent. I'm rousing for it.
Okay. It does make you hungrier. But
Given the circumstances, I can deal with that. Oh, come on.
3's not bad. 3 is pretty solid.
Okay.
But do you want to push it?
If I spend any more willpower, I am going to lose my shit.
And 3 it is.
3 it is.
Adder, one thing you know for certain, because you remember what she did, more akin to razors. These claw marks? That's not a razor blade being dragged. That's something else. Something that's curved, more animalistic than a straight razor. It's not right.
That's an invisible wolf. I can't see him. I hope he can't see me. That's an invisible wolf. I need to get the fuck out.
I'm going to ask.
Quietly and slowly.
Now you have Silence of Death active as well, right?
Yes, and
okay.
Unseen Passage, yes.
All right. So we're only trying to avoid a sense of smell.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that being said, I would like you to still roll me a Dex Stealth. But the difficulty is in your favor.
Do I get any bonuses for Silence of Death or Unseen Passage?
I'm dropping the difficulty because of it.
Okay, so it's lower difficulty as my bonus. Okay.
I'm going to try and make sure that I'm adjusting difficulty for these situations.
4.
Adder, more than a few times you had to lower your head as you can just feel it. Like this thing is hunting still. But you're not being hunted inside the house or this apartment block. You're being hunted by this apartment block. Bits of it shred, bits of it fall, crashing down. Whatever the hell that was, gyprock or something of the like. Occasionally the wires hang low as though trying to feel you out. Walls crumble just enough to end up seeing if it can frighten you out of hiding. Small amounts of ash and gyprock cover your face. You try to stay quiet, silent.
Just a
Maybe
snake in the grass.
just a snake in the grass as you step outside. Outside of the horror apartment block to see your coterie mates. Omen with the skin of his head peeled back a bit after taking a hit by what you don't know. Ruby finally able to calm herself. And Colton standing there stern as always. And Ruby, maybe you look back at where those bars were. You can almost see yourself still hanging on to them, reaching out, begging to come out. And that is where we're going to take a small break, ladies and gentlemen. Be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, we now return to Winnipeg by night. After being forced out of the burnt down Hauer apartment block, the coterie has gotten back together just outside. Tire tracks still linger, chewed up the grass in the front lawn as a hit and run has managed to injure Owen. And inside, something lurks. Something that is built to destroy Kindred. Let me get my audio remixed because I went a little overboard. Sorry about that, everybody. But with that being said, the night is cold. And the rest of you have a chance to reconnoiter, trying to find yourselves a bit of respite after poking your nose in the den of something that hates you. Adder, Ruby, Omen, Colton. What do you do?
Colton would just go and kind of sit cross-legged on the sidewalk right out front and call Earl over, trying to soothe him because he's probably really ragged and worried.
Oh, he is.
He's going to look around at the rest of you and now, I don't know what you guys can see, but I do know a rabid animal when it needs to be put down.
Rabid. That is beyond rabid at this point.
No, you're
I didn't-
wrong. You're wrong. It's not rabid. That's intelligent. Whatever that is, it knows what it wants. And it knows it does not want us anywhere near it. And it sure as hell wants to kill us.
We found a room at her. Chains, shackles on the walls, giant claw marks. I don't know if the entire shackle was made of it, but at least on the inside, silver.
Yeah. Yeah, that backs up my hypothesis. There was a.
I
Go
kept
ahead.
feeling something strange, like something breathing down the back of my damn neck on the outside.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Welcome to werewolf country.
Apparently. Also, did anyone get the license plate on whatever the fuck ran me over?
No, unfortunately.
No,
I
no.
heard a car go by.
The only thing you saw was bumper and a pink blur.
I'm going to ask Earl to
So,
go over to the tire tracks and see if he can pick up any kind of a scent.
Yeah, you can. Mostly just of car. Whether he's going to be able to track it for any prolonged period of time, that's a different story entirely.
This place gives me the willies.
Yeah.
I'm gonna heal my one superficial damage, by the way, because I'd rather not. I'd rather have my scalp back on my head, probably.
Yeah, well, damn near being scalped by an oncoming car will do that. So why don't you make us that rouse check, Omen?
Oh, is everybody all right? Is everybody in one piece?
I
Mostly.
imagine when you ask that at her, you kind of look to Omen, whose skin literally seems to move like its own muscle back into place, and the wound starts to zip back up.
Yeah, that too. Anyone hankering for a snack after tonight's events?
Oh, I
Oh,
might. I'm going to rouse the heal at least one of my two.
Okay.
Depending on how that one goes. Nope, I'm not going to heal up that second one just yet.
I will do the same.
We've got to be careful. It's not like this place is a buffet.
No, it is not. Ruby, you stitch yourself back up, but it ain't doing nothing for that corset of yours. Puncture holes and bits of wood and plaster start to ooze out of your skin as your body rejects the wound. But you're still not holding together. Colton, you, however, managed to end up healing yourself up right. Thankfully, you're still surprisingly well fed. But the horror if apartment block, you can look at it and you swear something's looking at you, waiting for you to try your luck again.
Imagine I'm just picking splinters out, healing them,
Mm.
and Earl is just like whining and licking at the wound.
I think it's agreed we're
So,
not going back in there, right?
Not
Not without a
anytime
plan.
soon.
I mean, we
I
can always
mean,
just send someone there.
what?
Yeah, have someone else clear it out.
I'm
I
not
ain't
sending
gonna
anybody I'm not sending anybody I like into that place. Are you kidding?
I don't think that can be cleared out.
I mean, clearly it needs an exorcism.
But we're talking about a werewolf spirit that's probably combined with whatever mortal spirits remain from whatever the hell they went through in there.
Oh, I could probably tell you, and it is very graphic, given I suspect what I suspected earlier about this being a haunt of a very famous and very dangerous killer in the
Yeah,
mosh pit.
I picked up on your little thing about that. I'm not sure the exact detail, but I can imagine.
What I saw down in that basement disgusted me. And
Oh,
all I
honey,
know is that whatever is lingering here either needs to be controlled or dealt with.
honey, you
Well,
don't know the
how
half of it.
how do you how do you do that? Do you
We
know?
we need to find someone that does.
And owe them out the fucking ass for it? I'm sorry, but I don't think anybody's gonna do that for free.
Mm-mm. Not with.
We don't have the blood to be able to offer somebody a hunting trip just on a willy-nilly. We can barely keep ourselves fed if I'm really analyzing this place right. So we don't have much to offer in exchange for something like that. So the best that we can do is leave it alone. Or, like, I guess if you want to be vindictive against somebody that you really don't like, send them here to whatever happens, happens.
We
I don't
could
know about
let
all of you.
Bangle have it.
I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
I kind of want the person that ran me over to live in here, honestly.
I'm sorry
That
about that,
being
guys. I
said,
disconnected for a second.
oof.
All good.
That being said, we shouldn't do anything about this without having some sort of plan, something, because that's not good.
The best case scenario is the city's gonna tear it down eventually because it's an eyesore
What if
and it's a hazard to the
what if
populace of
that
this
lets it out?
neighborhood.
What if that's the only thing that's holding it here?
Do
Then
you
it
have a
probably.
brilliant idea how to contain it?
Did I
Actually, can I
hear
roll?
did I hear her saying or him saying that um who was calling, was it
I was
Ruby or was
calling
it someone was calling a priest?
I was calling Preacher my sire,
Oh,
that you don't know who
okay.
he is.
Okay, I didn't know. I that was out of, I didn't know if I had overheard that. Well, I don't know. Do there has to be someone that knows this. I don't like leaving things like that unattended. If you leave a predator like that out for long
It,
enough, you
it's
lose
not
everything.
unattended. Believe me. We're going to be keeping an eye on it from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as I can tell, like, did the building try and attack the person who drove by and hit you?
I don't know. Everything was kind of a pink blur after a point.
Understandable. Getting hit
I
by a
don't
car
know.
sucks.
I just don't like it.
We don't
Honey,
have to leave it unattended. We can definitely do a patrol every night to make sure that this place is still taped up for, police tape, all of that stuff. We can buy stuff like that for ourselves and then wrap the thing in it if we wanted to. Wrap the perimeter of the premises. But I'm not going back in there.
there's a part of me that wants to go back in there and investigate more, but with that thing in there,
That will
I
kill you. You will die.
that's why I was saying I'd like to, but with it being in there, that's going to be a no.
I think I've had enough curiosity for one night. Um, unless you all know somebody who would do that kind of a thing for free. I
I
was going
don't.
to call my sire to ask him to see if he knows anything about this place, but apparently we already know what needs to be known.
He might know of a way or someone that knows how to deal with this. We
For
need
free,
something.
though.
Nothing's free.
Nature doesn't work for free.
Mm-mm.
What do we offer then?
Mm.
What do we offer him then? I got nothing.
There's not much in this domain.
The only thing I can think of, since I'm the one that really wants this to happen, is I could offer my services.
Which is what? I don't even know.
I'm good at finding things and I'm good at making things go away. I'm a hunter of sorts.
And that really doesn't make you unique in Winnipeg.
I didn't say I was unique. But skills can be leveraged. I
To a
just don't
degree.
I just don't want to let this get away. The thing that I worry is that they tear the building down, and that was the only thing that was anchoring it here. And then it's free
If
to do
that's the
whatever it
case,
wants.
so, okay, I'll call Preacher, see what I can find out. If he thinks that tearing the place down is going to let the thing go and it pass on into the oblivion for and leave the rest of humanity and the rest of us alone, great. If it turns out it's going to be let go and free to wreak havoc around the whole entire city, well, there's nothing we can do about that anyway. That that building is gonna come down, whether it's force of nature or force of human force.
Yeah, I just want us to be ready for that.
I think getting the answer to that would allow us to better prepare ourselves. Either case. Especially if it's going to do nothing but set it free. We'd have at least a little bit of time to prepare ourselves. Because you
Well,
know, first thing it's going to do if it gets free, it's come after us.
Are you sure about that?
Not 100%, but we were just recently in there fucking with it.
Well, true.
In a sense.
I don't know about you all, but the vibes I got were a little more, yes, very, very strong hatred vibes, but not specific.
Mm-mm.
Is that kind of what you were seeing and feeling too?
Yeah.
So I don't think it's gonna come after us specifically. And if I know werewolf country like I do, wolves will go after anything that isn't a part of their sort of how the world should be. They'll they'll go after vampires, they'll go after ghosts like this, they'll go after just about anything that doesn't fit into their perfect worldview.
Fair.
So just
So,
saying it might not just be us. So I'm gonna call Preacher and see if I can ask him for a favor.
all right, Adder, you call the line. It takes a second before it's eventually picked up. it's a little early to end up hearing you call.
Yeah. Um, I got a I got a couple questions I need to ask in person. Um,
Oh,
would you prefer I swing by, or would you like to come see the new hotness I've got going on?
I love the way you phrase that. Love it, love it. Yeah, I think I might just swing by. Let me just finish up a few things here, and I'll be on my way. My perfect little
Great. Look forward to seeing you.
boy. You too. You end up hearing the line go dead.
All right. He's coming this way. Uh,
Good.
he's a bit of an oddity. I'll give you that heads up. Just gonna let me do the talking, yeah?
By all means, I would like to tell him that what I was seeing down in the basement. I was
Yeah,
seeing things that Colton might not have been picking up.
fair. I mean, if you want to put it in your own words, not gonna stop you. So we head over to a place where we can meet up with Preacher.
Well, takes a second as you end up waiting for Preacher. He eventually pulls up. Looks like one of those old Cadillac hearses. All nice and black. That old fashioned leather interior kept pristine. Eventually pulls up to the park, not too far away. When he exits out, what you see is a man in an old duster. Perfectly polished black leather. Underneath the priest's garb, right along with the perfect white collar. A pair of small, old timey glasses and a black hat. And looks like he's something out of a western. Kind of the last preacher at the end of the world vibes. And as he starts walking, you don't hear anything. He sticks to the shadows for the most part, even going so far as to walk a straight line, staying in the dark, with only the reflection of the light off the glasses to really indicate any form of life. When you see him, you realize that his skin is old. Not just in the point of kindred. I mean, this individual probably was embraced in their 60s or 70s. When he comes over, he sees you at her, and he walks right by, his arms fly wide. My son, my son. Oh, so good to see you. Such a pretty little place you managed to carve out here. And this must be the rest of your fine, fine friends.
question. Would the priest garb have any effect on me considering I've got a folklore block of holy symbols?
It would, actually. Now, that just means you can't approach him.
Okay.
All right? That's the key. If he walks to you, it's unnerving, but it's not going to drive you. But it's a folkloric block, which means you need to spend willpower in order to approach him.
Okay.
Just he's
Double
wearing a
checking.
cross, sort of
Yep.
thing.
Well, it is his masquerade, and he lives up to the name.
Yes, this is Ruby and Colton and Owen. They're the new little gang that I've kind of been falling in with.
Ruby, Omen, Colton. Well then, he places his arm around Adder's shoulders and pulls him in close.
And I let him.
It's good you looking after him, my boy. Coteries, gangs, crews. It's so important for the young. So important. Young and developing, finding your place. Now, you, my boy, as he reaches under your chin and raises your head to look at him, you see that smile of broken teeth, that soft touch that he's also known with. You said you had to talk. Couldn't do it over the phone, had to presume it was important business.
Pretty darn important, actually. Turns out that the tower building that went up the other night, turns out there's some funky business going on with a spirit inhabiting the place. Wasn't sure whether you would, you know, have an idea how to get rid of it. Colton thinks it seems that's the route to go. Or if tearing it down is going to let it loose on the Peg City.
Coin flip, really. Guess it depends on what's actually going on in there.
Or thinking a tortured werewolf spirit.
Combined with mortal spirits.
Kind of grown in power, absorbed everything as far as energy around it, started wreaking havoc, maybe have caused the fire, that sort of thing.
Can't say it's well within my realm of expertise. But I might know somebody who does.
Who would that be?
Giovanni.
Giovanni. You mean the Hakata?
See, my boy's shop. He looks over the rest of you. Azura Giovanni. Giovanni didn't have much luck in Winnipeg, but one of them stuck around. Wants to keep the family business going, I suppose. They have a lot of knowledge on this kind of shit.
Well, that's probably the closest thing we have to an expert these nights, as all of our premiere seemed to have took off 5 years ago.
Still find Tremere going, but Tremere magic. dead. Well,
That's the Hikata.
you're
Oh
catching
boy.
up.
What are they going to want in return for something like this?
Don't know. Guess depends on them. We'll say this though, you guys. Well, you got something going on. I'm sure everybody can work out a deal. Besides, on all of you just enjoying the new digs, planting your feet. You look a little worn, Missy. A little bit of rough trails. What happens? Spend the night with the choir boy again?
If only that were the case.
Don't worry, there's more ways to end up wrecking a person than the old fashioned. Sometimes he drags a finger along Adder's face. You gotta get a little creative.
I agree. I can be very creative.
Sure, sweetheart. I'm sure you can. There's a few things I can end up doing. Don't mind getting you in touch. After all, I want my boy settled. All calm and happy. I want to end up making sure it's all good. Your friends. After all, coterie mates, friends to the end. Till the ash hat kicks in anyway.
Well, hopefully later rather than sooner. Comes for all of us in the end.
Not then let that happen. He grabs, and you see he gets very serious when he ends up looking at you. Just can't let, not gonna let something happen, my dear boy. Never.
Nothing's gonna happen to me. Promise.
Yeah, I got his back.
I'd hope so, Omen. Would hate for the situation to turn ill to you.
Rather it not go that way.
Of course not. Because then I'd have to end up realizing I'd be looking into the eyes of a God-fearing man. Find out he's afraid of the wrong thing. It's okay, though. It's okay.
Omen takes a step next to Coden after that shit.
Oh, it's all right. We're good, right?
Colonel nod.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Okay. Nothing untoward is going to happen. I know how to look out for myself, preacher. You have my word that I'm going to be okay.
I know you will be. I have all the confidence in the world. His hand, he grips your shoulder a little bit as he keeps pulling you in a little tighter. You know, like those nights. But that's for another time. When he ends up looking at the rest of you, I'll end up getting Giovanni here soon enough. See if I can't have her swing by tomorrow.
All right.
You know how it is. Can't exactly do too much over the phone, and keeping a certain level of not connected to each other kind of keeps a little bit of security. That
Right.
and Giovanni's not on good measure with any of the barons.
Ooh.
So try and keep contact and friendships down to the minimum.
Hmm.
If you got to offer favors, well, You gotta offer favors. But don't forget, Louis is gonna be looking out for see which ways the wind's blowing with you all. And I can only end up keeping him at bay for so long. Styx is also keeping an eye out. Word is that she's already gotten to talking with some folk. I guess we
About
can.
us?
New Coterie just ended up taking Mangle out of their turf. Yeah, that's a shift. That's a shift. And even the small shifts, you want to make sure they feel it.
Mangle's an incompetent oaf.
Love it when he talks like that. Makes a man stand up, feel counted. And that might be right. But Mangle's been around long enough to end up knowing when it is that he's got his time coming. Don't turn your back on him. Not the first time he's been down and out.
Oh, I don't count him out. Just in a different position. Which brings me to the little bits of information I found out about this place. That we found out about this place regarding.
Look at that, my boy's already trying to be so inclusive as to end up making sure you all get your little pats on the ass. How didn't I say he was a good boy?
Kind of all put our heads together after getting separated for a moment. But what I think that place was one of Samantha's haunts.
Quiet death lurked here, huh?
She was all over the mosh pit.
Tearing it to pieces with Decca. Yeah. You think that was one of hers?
Might have been. Didn't really get to explore a whole lot as far as maybe things that might have been left over from that period, but because the actual.
I'm gonna pause you there because of something you said. Rubia, here's a quick question. Would you do me a favor and roll me a composure aspects?
Composure aspects.
That's an interesting one.
Jinx.
Only one. Okay. Ruby, I'm going to give you an opportunity. You can either willpower that, or you can succeed at a cost, or let the dice lay as it is. Your choice.
What's the cost?
The cost is going to end up being that the next rouse check, whether called by me or asked for by someone else, is an automatic failure. And that can extend beyond this session.
I'll take the cost.
Something about what Adder just said. Left behind. Your blood shifts in that special way for most Malkavians. Some have a command over this. They call it a cobweb. The Malkavian madness network, the interconnected, the fungus, the cogs, the machine. All manners a way to end up describing the sensation. But the sensation is just a blur. You think of the people being dragged into that room with that thing, that lupine that must have been caged in there. How they were probably torn to shreds. You wonder briefly why. Why keep that there? Keep it in a basement, surrounded by concrete and bars so it can't escape. And then you get a deep sinking feeling. Not necessarily in the emotional sense, but in the quite literal. Like you're being drowned in earth and concrete. And it's almost like you fall to the center of the earth. As you suddenly snap back. And Adder continues.
We didn't get a whole lot of a chance to explore what had been left behind in that place, as we got literally chased out by the building itself. Nearly, well, I would say could have killed us, but some of us are made of hardier stuff than that.
I'm sure. I know just how hot it can get.
Right now, it's a death trap.
In more ways than one.
Well,
So that's what I know about it as of right now.
anything that you guys want to add? Don't want to end up leaving just for you to call me again the next night. I love looking after my little ladder here, but can't be no helicopter papa. I can't be very much on top of this shit.
They covered pretty much everything.
Good Lord. All right. Well, let's go about her. Don't be a stranger now. I'll get in contact with Giovanni. But it's up to you to end up making sure that you can offer something they need.
That would be the important factor here.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're going to be putting that together and see what we can come up with as far as a deal.
Know them before they show up. After all, it's lonely out there. Not everybody has somebody to look towards. After all, that's what a crew's for. Good night.
True. Have a good night, preacher.
Be well. His eyes through those glasses that illuminated in reflection of street lights, look back to you, Adder. There is just something off to the rest of you, just something that just being around this individual just doesn't feel right. Adder, however, seems almost completely at ease as he starts to end up entering back into that Cadillac of a hearse. Starts up the engine. Starts to drive.
I just kind of watch for a moment as the car leaves.
So sad to see him go, isn't it, Adder?
Sometimes, yeah. Like he said, he can't be a helicopter parent forever.
Yo, man, what the fuck?
What do you mean?
Why is he so goddamn creepy?
Creepy.
You do not tell me you did not get creeped out.
Penny
He's my
roll.
sire.
I forgot. Creepy must run in your bloodline, right? Cause that shit, that I felt almost violated just being next to you, and I was several feet away. Okay, that gives makes me feel weird. Okay, I'd rather not be in the presence of that if I'm being honest.
Really?
Hey, you had to deal with that your entire life, your entire unliving.
Define for me what you think is wrong here.
He gives off the vibes of preachers, and you know I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it.
He gives off the vibe of one because he's wearing a preacher's outfit, Omen.
Listen,
Or did
okay.
you not see that?
Listen, okay. I'm just saying, okay. As dude, he's a preacher. I'm just saying, there's some connections here that I'd rather not say out loud. He creeps me the hell out.
I think that's a you problem.
He was
You know what?
slightly unnerving, but
You know what?
I'm fine as long as I can keep my distance. That's all I can say about that.
Hey, we gotta see this person again. God.
I told you he was odd.
Odd is an understatement at that point.
He's quirky. He's weird. He's odd. He's old.
Quirky, weird, my ass. That man got several screw loose.
Could
So
say the
do
same
you.
about you in some cases.
And you don't because you don't think that you have a few screws loose? I don't know you
Honest,
enough. I don't know you enough to be able to determine what those screws are, but I know that they're there.
Adder,
Honestly,
it
I'm
might be the
pretty normal.
bumper talking.
Hmm.
You just hear loud music turned up at this point, like, yeah, just gonna try to erase this from my memory tonight.
You choose to ignore me now.
I have so many intrusive thoughts coming into my mind right now. I don't want to say it out loud.
Hmm. Anyone else want to pipe up about their uncomfortability about my relationship with my sire, or are we good?
Oh, it's not the relationship that does it. No, that's fine. I have seen weird, I have loved. It's the preacher aspect that just creeps me out a little bit.
You mean to say that priests freak you out?
They give off a vibe I don't like. Let's put it simply.
And I don't?
No, you don't.
You don't know me well enough, honey.
I know
You
you
know
well
what?
enough that you come into my club on occasion.
You know what? All I'm gonna say to this occasion,
I thought you weren't
Pritchard.
listening to me anymore.
Shit.
Got caught, didn't you?
Got caught in your own conundrum. I kind of like toying with you a little bit there, Omen. I'm not
Fuck
gonna
off.
lie.
Fuck off, Adder. Okay. I ain't move for this shit.
I don't know what it is I did to piss you off. What did I do?
You know what you did. You know what
I
you
didn't.
did?
I did
You know
nothing.
what you know
I
what
got
you
you
did.
the in with the Hakata. Alright? I got you all the in with the Hakata. I don't see what I did anything wrong.
I regret this moment.
I did everything
Now
that
and
you
forever.
wanted me to do.
Yes. No. You know what? You know what? You know what? No. 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 If we have to deal with him here, actually, what if we meet a twin of him, but with Hakata? Okay.
That's
Is this just
possible
gonna be a
too.
is just gonna be a running theme we gotta deal with now? Because I feel like that kind of creepy mixes with another kind of creepy, and it just gets more and more twisted.
This is how I know you're not from Winnipeg.
Listen, man, I don't be in no hocus pocus voodoo circles, okay?
Neither am I.
This apparently you hang out
I'm
with
a
weird
good
ass
Christian boy.
bullshit. Bullshit, don't you? He gives pastors a bad name.
Pastors give themselves a bad name.
I think that's a generalization.
You're wrong and not wrong at the same time.
I'm just saying. You gotta open your mind up to different things.
You know, the last person that said that you gotta open your mind up to new things, it did not end well for me, and I got traumatized. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Omen.
That
Yeah, you
bit
better
of a
be.
bit of a
Hold up.
dump there.
Hold up. Omen. Let's flash back a bit. What is it? What is that? You said that like there's a very specific moment in time. What is that?
God damn it. There was a time where my sire said, hey, open up your mind to new things, try new possibilities, think of new methods. And you know what that ended up leading me? Getting stabbed over and over again because I didn't block well. And you know how that makes me feel every single time I have to go to set and see a pair of drumsticks? I can't play worth shit at this point. All because learn a new fighting style. You like martial arts. It'll be a new lesson. Oh, it was a lesson, all right. And I don't want to repeat new things at this point, honestly.
Yeah.
Fuck him from Beyond Brave.
Yeah. Because I think we can imagine the idea of a drumstick. Something as simple as mundane as a piece of musical instrument being raked in between ribs, sliding along vertebrae into heart, leaving you hopeless, helpless, paralyzed, trapped within your own body. As he illustrated how far you can take just something as simple as a broken drumstick. All the soft bits of the human body. Kindred don't feel the way humans do. But pain doesn't change. It's not redefined. It's just different.
Those lessons were a motherfucker and a half.
I don't think your hips were meant to bend that way when it came down to drumsticks, to be honest. But
Oh God, no! I don't need this image on me. I don't. Damn it, Adam, why'd you do this to me?
I don't know what it is I did.
New things, they said. It'll be fun, they said. I'm going to get something to eat.
That sounds like a great plan.
Yes, it does.
Anyone want any company?
You
I mean,
let
unless you're up
me
for a
stand through
threesome.
hell. You're coming with me.
Okay.
Who's going with who now?
Apparently, Omen wants me to come with him on a feeding trip. Maybe he's taking me out to dinner.
He doesn't have a choice in this.
He's taking me out to dinner.
I'll look over and, well, I've been
I
meaning to
first
check
like
out
that.
your club.
Oh, we can go out that way. Deal.
Or maybe some of the local bars. Whatever you think.
I'm always down for a threesome. Makes things fun.
PG. What do you say, Omen? Let's go get a drink. And I kind of wrap my arm around his like because he's taller than me. Like I'm like a woman hanging onto his arm right now.
Oh man, maybe for a brief moment you're wondering what it feels like to be in a priest's outfit right now.
We're truly damned.
Don't do
That
anything
is
I
what they
wouldn't do,
say.
boys.
So, with that, we have a split. So, who is starting off the feeding? Now, I will remind you all that you are in a Chase 2 domain. That means difficulty 5 is required for hunting.
Yeah. I am particularly parched.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, you know what? Let's go first.
I'll go first.
Sure.
Now, Adder, how is it that you typically feed? And are you willing to show Omen how you typically feed?
But Omen would find that Adder is fairly open about his feeding style. He doesn't think that he does anything that's particularly compromising to his own personal style. It's not like he has a particular set of people that he enjoys feeding from in particular. It's just that, well, they tend to be asleep when he goes to drink from them. Doesn't matter who they are, necessarily. Doesn't matter what they taste like, necessarily. Just that I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be caught. So sneaking in and sneaking out is the way in which I do things.
All right. You, if I recall, use stealth as your primary. Yeah.
Yes.
So, Omen, you said you have any dots in stealth?
Yes.
Then, Adder, you will receive a +1.
Ooh, very nice.
And this is going to take at least half an hour.
Okay.
See, the Mountain Avenue domain it's not a densely populated area.
I also have break-ins as a specialty that applies. Yeah.
That does apply. Yes, it does.
Okay.
Now you could willpower that. That's 2, and one of your successes is a 10. So you already have half the 10s you need for a crit, and you do have 3 dice to reroll.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that because I
Or you can
do. Well, that's 3, and I need 5. That's not enough.
That's okay. That's only a half hour. You just might not have much of an evening left by the time this is all done if you want to retry. We've eaten at about half the night, given the fact you had to wait for Preacher to end up showing
To show up. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go for a round 2 and try. If my good friend is willing to be patient with me.
Oh, of course.
Well,
I mean,
I think everybody is aware this is not easy feeding territory. In fact,
Ooh.
for anybody who's familiar, you probably are aware that territories like this typically occupy a lot of kindred's time in order to end up having them feed. So much so that they're not able to focus on anything else but hunting night after night.
Very similar to how life was in the mosh pit, maybe only a tiny bit better.
Well,
tiny bit. If only.
it was part of the course.
Ooh, that's 3 again.
You only need 2 successes, and you do have a 10 there.
Yep, and I'm going to spend willpower. God damn it.
That's a full hour.
And I'm nearly spent.
You're Derek dicing pretty hard right now. I understand
Yeah, I am.
pain. I
Yeah, I
understand
am.
his pain. Just
This
to put
is what
this into
I'm good
perspective,
at.
he's got 9 dice, and he cannot end up rolling 5 successes.
It's Derek Dice in the chat.
Yep, please.
Please. I just want a success.
You need 5 to make it.
Come on, buddy boy.
You can do it. I just want to know on how much time we're eating up.
Right.
Because we're already well past midnight at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh,
And
my
nights
good
are getting
friend.
shorter.
My good friend, Omen, please help me. Oh, there's
Hey, that's a little bit better.
4, and you'll need 1 out of the 2.
Yep, and I'll be willpower spent by the time I'm done. I
You got this.
basically have nothing left after this.
Yeah, you could spend it with just.
Oops.
Well,
Nope.
the first
It's
2
supposed
would
to
have
be
counted.
only 2. Yeah.
Well, it's all 3 successes, so I'm going to presume that 2 of them would have been successes. I'll
Yeah.
gladly end up doing that. Yeah, I'm going to cut you a lifeline rather than to make you re-roll again. Is knowing my luck, which is now becoming your luck, you would roll goose eggs on that. So
I probably
Takes-
would.
1.5 hours. Attempted break-in after attempted break-in, trying to end up finding. Sometimes somebody's not home. Sometimes they're still awake. Sometimes the baby wakes up and starts crying, and the parents would get up while you're going because you were just getting ready. But this one is something. Now, that being said, ooh. That
Better be worth my damn time.
it is. We are going to make this, because I don't remember off the cuff. I'm going to make this a strong melancholic resonance.
Ooh.
It's not a clot, but it is a melancholic resonance. This person may be in throes of depression, trying to sleep it off, but there is something rich, something smooth to his blood. Something that puts you at ease, especially after tonight. It's your raison d'etre. A type that you could feed on for so long.
I really do like that flavor.
How much are you taking, Adder? Since you
2.
only have 3 hunger, you're going to drop yourself down to 1 hunger.
Yes. Thankfully, it's worth it. It doesn't mean mechanically I get a bonus to obfuscate, right?
That is correct.
Oh, delightful.
His blood's worth bottling. You might want to take your time with it. Omen, on the other hand, outside. Dear God. Now, this isn't unusual to you, Omen. Let's be real here. Trying to end up hunting in this domain, sometimes you can eat 3-4 hours. Some make it look like it's nothing. Others have maybe started to try and cultivate small herds just to end up giving them some breathing room. This is the reality for most anarchs in Winnipeg. The best places to feed, occupied by barons and their own gangs. Sometimes used as reward for loyalty, sometimes used as bargaining chips. But at the very least, you have a small piece of turf that you can call your own. It doesn't force you into allegiance with any of the others. Being out in Mountain Avenue, you're outside of Prince Louis's head domain and outside of any border skirmishes. Probably one of the few places left where you can be left in peace. If it weren't for previous occupancies, local hauntings, and God knows whatever else is currently scouring about on your streets. So, Omen, how do you feed?
Man, the view is so much different on the other side. I feed a bit differently. Adder would end up seeing me pull out a cell phone and getting in contact with someone. Now, it would be a random, well, you would end up hearing a lot of music in the background with this contact. Um, Kind of gonna ask my contact, hey, I know you usually have a bunch of rowdy people that you usually dislike going into the club. Uh, which one tonight won't be missed, or you have a interest in getting rid of?
No, that's fairly bold to end up saying over a phone line.
Um,
But,
it is
so
a throwaway phone.
what is your feeding type?
My feeding type is pursuer,
Pursuer. Always
which would
ambitious.
be intelligence investigation.
Adder, you have a dot of investigation, right?
I do have 2.
All right. Omen, you get a single bonus to it.
Okay.
It's your
And
reason
I
you hunt in
have,
packs.
yep. And I have a specialty for profiling.
Mhm. That will also end up giving you a bonus.
Oh, thank God.
I'm looking for 5. That is
Ooh, there
5
we go.
right out of the gate.
Very nice, very nice.
Adder, you follow the marked individual. You're not sure how it is that Omen knows he's marked, but Omen knows who he's talking about. You're not in your domain, unfortunately. But a single cutoff, forcing somebody onto the wrong street, driving, like Omen's done this 1,000,000 times. It's not until this individual starts to pull over and he's cut off again, gets out, as though a bit of road rage is about to encounter. But Omen enjoys the chase. Little more than a flash of violence. Person tries to get in their car. Doesn't take much for Omen to move so swiftly as to rip the keys out and throw them away. He tries to get Omen to get away from him by opening the car door hard on him. But Omen, that's the thing that gets the blood pumping. That's the thing that ends up bringing out that animal inside. The chase, the hunt, the tackling down. Like a lion bringing down a gazelle. He's already inside, out, folded in half by the time you end up bringing him down. Your fangs buried deep. You start to end up taking in that drink. Sanguine wine that fills your belly. How much are you taking, woman?
I'm taking. Yeah, kind of want to be a little feel it, so gonna take 2. It's not gonna benefit me, but taking 2.
But you're not going to let it go to waste. It's that tease for the beast, right? You aren't getting any less hungry. You still get a little peckish, but you're not going to kill him. Just enough to leave him in a daze, concussed, not sure what the hell is going on, memories all fuzzy, as he just kind of leaves himself in. You pull your fangs out, and drop his keys on top of him. If somebody wants his ride, they can take it. Take his wallet. Take his life. You got what you need. That's the reality of your nights. It's all about the chase, Omen. It's all about the chase.
Easy enough.
So that'll be a grand total of 2 hours from you guys, which is going to end up bringing us back over to Ruby and Colton. Now, Ruby, you have a club going on. What kind of club are we talking about?
It's a nightclub with a goth theme to it. Just gonna stick to our own theme after all. She's gonna be looking.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No?
No.
Your club.
You go ahead.
It's your club. I want to hear this.
She's not pulling from her tonight. She wants someone that's a little bit fresher to her. So she's looking for someone who's alone.
Kind of
She approaches them. The irony behind it all. And she's going to seduce them slowly and pull them back to her office.
Alright. Your feeding type, if I recall, is...
Siren.
Siren. There we go. Okay. Remember, it's still going to be a difficulty 5. Your club's not exactly a heavy bang. Goth scene's on it. Has been on its way out for decades. Just refuses to die. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Is Colton Gain involved in this?
If she would like help, he would
Sometimes it's just a matter of running cover, sometimes not. But you are trying to make 5 successes.
I don't think she's taken any help on this one.
Okay.
So it'll be a specialty from subterfuge. Do looks play a factor?
Yes.
Wonderful. Really?
Ruby.
Really?
Ruby, that's 2 successes. Now, I'm going to offer you a succeed at a cost.
What's the cost?
I will gladly let that through. And nothing might happen. You might get away with this scot-free. On the other hand, maybe not. I'm going to ask for a frenzy check.
I'm going to willpower that.
Sure. You're just going to make that frenzy check more difficult in the later run.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Glad you stand with your decision. Yeah. Ruby, you're beautiful. But maybe you just came across as a little desperate. Then again, it's been a long night for you, so I imagine right now the want to feed, that need of yours, being particularly thirsty, seems like every man's dream until you run into it. Maybe for a brief moment you find yourself acting a little bit like Preacher.
As unnerving as that is.
Gotta be careful how many times you do that. You might start garnering a reputation.
Given that she has struck out on the first try, she will pull from her instead of trying again.
You're gonna pull from your herd? Okay,
Yep.
How much are you taking from your herd?
Just 1.
Okay. It's enough to end up making sure that tomorrow you'll still be in control.
Mm-hmm.
But that's gonna end up costing you nevertheless, so that's gonna be a full hour. Which gives Colton an hour if you guys wanted to keep up with each other. So no pressure. No pressure, Colton.
No.
Now what does Colton do?
He will try to attract someone either through looks or through compliments, or perhaps even they see a big fluffy dog and they just want to pet it and they strike up conversation.
Try.
Talks.
So
But
you're
he is a siren.
You are a siren as well. Ooh. Fun stuff, fun stuff, fun stuff. Can I get a roll, please?
I am setting up my roll now. And I'm assuming looks in my specialty will
They do.
kick in.
I'm looking for a difficulty 5. And he does manage to make it on the first try. Colton, you suave man. Maybe after seeing Ruby stumble a bit, you end up finding somebody who's also maybe catching on the rebound. Has a particular flavor to it. Let's see what that offers. Whoops, that's too many. 6 is not going to be anything that sticks for you, though, unfortunately. Still, how much blood are you taking?
I only need a single dot.
It's enough to get a little bit of a taster.
Yeah.
Very well, then. I imagine at this point it's little more than a sideways glance. Pull into that part of the nightclub, the one that most people don't look. because we already end up seeing somebody who's being pinned to a wall and having a little bit of a quick settle in near the back room. In most crowds, this would be considered way over the line. This is the kind of club, I imagine, where that kind of sleaze isn't exactly abnormal. The kind where people are used to being showcasing their aesthetic appreciation and just as quickly being used as meat. That kind of wild abandon. One night stands and a couple of stand-ups. But after you take your fill, you manage to settle. And with only a few hours left to the evening, is there anything anybody needs to get done before the evening concludes?
I think I would, no, sorry, go ahead.
I think I'm going to go ahead and try and heal up that last superficial.
Very well then. Roll me a rouse check.
I have a question though, Derek. Could I have sipped on this for a while and kept her he or her in bliss if Ruby was still hungry to maybe take another sip?
You could, but the problem is that would have had to be something that you guys plotted beforehand, and Ruby was pretty adamant to be hunting on her own, so I don't think she would have ended up agreeing to that plan beforehand. That and you guys are still figuring each other's patterns out, so.
Okay, it was worth a shot.
Ruby, you get hungrier, easy come, easy go. But, at the very least, those little potholes they've made out of wood splinters are gone. And you leave just small, red, damn near toothpick-sized pieces of wood from the apartment block on the ground, probably to be swept up in a dustbin later. Not that anybody will notice, right? It's not the strangest thing you've ever brought into the club.
In the car with Omen, just kind of observing after he has his fill, and we're driving back to wherever it is that we're going. Just kind of look at him. So, what makes you want to hunt like this? Car chases and things like that. Not really chases, not like they're going all that fast, but, you know.
More so, honestly, didn't really have a choice. Kind of how I was taught, but I kind of agree with it a little bit.
Curious. Entire taught, didn't have a choice, but now that you do,
easier on me, honestly. And it kind of agrees with me. Like I said, I really hate piece of shit people.
So what's a piece of shit person to you?
That is a long ass list, honestly. But we are on drive, so
I must fall on that list then, because if it's that long and it includes that many variables, then obviously everyone on planet Earth would be on that list.
Nah. I mean, you're fine.
Am I?
Well, at least I think so far. You do kind of have a punchable face, but that's not too much of a factor when it comes down to it.
I have a punchable face.
See, that expression right there. You know something.
I
See,
know a
you're
lot of
smirking
things.
right now. You're smirking right now. You know it.
I know a lot of things. You're not being specific.
Honestly, I just can't stand. Oh my God, what was that going down the road?
I don't think it.
Yeah, well, let's get out of this area. Holy shit.
So I take from people as they're sleeping. You chase down these piece of shit people, as you define them, down the
Better
highway, follow them home, and nearly rob them.
Yeah, make it look like a robbing, make it look like a mugging, or just take nothing. Because honestly, some people in this world have ass kicking coming to them.
And you swear by these things.
Yeah, that methodology, honestly.
Alright. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to hold it against you what type of feeding you do, because we all have our ways of going about things. None of us are perfect, but I don't know. Just seems. I like to know what I'm getting into. That's why I ask a lot of questions. Because if you don't know why it is the way that you tick, the way that you do, how do you expect other people to be able to work with you?
Honestly, I fuck with that kind of logic. It makes a lot of sense, honestly. Other than being a martial enthusiast, I've always just been a book reader, honestly. Hell, my major was in philosophy.
Oh. Wait.
Yeah, and
okay. I can see that. Yeah, you're smart for a clan of assumed brutes.
I have learned, honestly, the old man taught me a lot of shit. Because I use that against people a whole lot. Because no one really ever expects it, honestly. That kind of irks me a little bit.
So, stupid people would fall under your list of pieces of shit?
People assuming things for the wrong reasons kind of fall under that list.
Okay.
But no, that's just a minor thing, honestly.
Okay.
People that harass and assault people in clubs, for example. People that stalk people are kind of on that asshole list. People that purposefully ruin relationships are also on that list. People that kind of just fuck with people for no apparent reason and expect life to just go easy on them is kind of deserve a divine ass, honestly. Well, karma. More than likely just following karma, honestly.
Sounds like I fit on your list perfectly.
You purposefully ruin relationships? I mean, your outfit does kind of give off that vibe, but I did not expect that from you, though.
Not on purpose. I have, though. Whether it was on purpose or not is irrelevant. It
I
happened.
think it was kind of relevant to the person you kind of fucked over. Unless they fucked you over first.
Nope. It's just an
You just-
accident.
Honestly, those are the worst kind of accidents. But I mean, shit happens.
Yeah, it does. Sometimes you're just having a bad day. And you get your blood sucked by a vampire. Shit happens.
Yeah. I mean,
Like I said, there's no judgments. I'm perfectly fine helping you doing whatever it is that we did. Whenever it is that you want help for it. Just-
I
Want to make sure I understand where your head's at.
yeah. Usually, I try not to do anything too strenuous, so I don't have to go.
That's a very smart way to live. Because this domain is shit.
Yeah, I've seen that, and holy shit.
It used to be worse. Let's just be quite honest here. It used to
Yeah,
be worse. It's only slightly better. Slightly.
as long as we can get in a position to like somehow make this place a tiny bit better, I consider this place a win. Honestly, there's no one here to really fuck with us, and well, other than the one person that
Mango.
really fucking hates you. I feel like he was the bastard that fucking hit me with the goddamn car. Honestly. Which, I don't even know why he fucking ran me over. Well, I guess I am associated with you, but
To be quite honest, Omen, as much as we try to be better here in Winnipeg, it's still very much a city of kill or be killed. And I would rather not do either one.
yeah. Staying far out of the way kinda helps you live longer.
Yeah, just not too far, because otherwise the lupines are going to get you.
Yeah.
You're kind of stuck.
Yeah, I wish I could travel more, honestly, but that's a big fucking hindrance.
It's true.
Man,
Welcome
I
to
wanted
Canada.
dude, I wanted to go to Tokyo, okay? Now, because of this shit, I can't, okay? You know how high that was on my bucket list to do, okay? And now that's fucked.
Well, technically you've already kicked the bucket, so... Nothing's stopping you still, though. You just have to make
Yes.
extenuous plans.
You had to say it. I mean, logistics and shit isn't 100% my forte.
What you got me for?
Yeah, but it ain't like we can just take a trip to the Bahamas at this point. Now, can we?
Well, it's the same hemisphere, so... nighttime travel on an airplane or on a boat tends to be a little tricky to maneuver unless you know people, but that's still doable. It just takes a lot of effort and a lot of knowledge and a lot of people you gotta know.
I don't work well with people, honestly. Like, I'm chill, but having a lot of connections is kind of not the best for me. And I mean, I guess that falls back on you. But honestly, if you're going to do all that pencil pushing,
Oh no, I don't
it
do
also means
pencil
I got it.
pushing. Paperwork and shit, I hate it. But if you
You
want me,
look like the person that does like pencil pushing type of shit.
I'm wearing a t-shirt and a hoodie, bro.
Yeah, but you got the punchable face for it again. Is my problem. Like I could see you like with a man bun, dude, and like a dress shirt, and you'd fit right in an office, like one of those secretaries. I'm just saying.
I've done that before, but it was
You
kinda
did
boring.
it before, which means you're good at it. Oh my god. I knew it. I knew it.
I'll just say anything and you'll believe it, won't you?
I mean,
You ain't even questioning on me on my bullshit, bro.
you know what? I mean, we've kind of hung out for 5 years. So, I mean, I kind of halfway believe your bullshit, honestly.
Well, more than that, but yeah.
I mean, who's counting at this point, honestly? We got an eternity.
If you survive.
I think
Well-
that is a fantastic line. Unless there's something Ruby and Colton are really chomping at the bit, I think that is a fantastic line to end on. Otherwise, I can literally imagine us sitting here listening for the next 3 hours as I gotta cut it off because the sun rises.
I was going to go visit Marv, but if you want to cut it off, we can do that another time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything in
No.
You sure?
I wanted to check in with him and see if he remembers anything and start basically a story point with him.
Okay. Well, we can definitely talk about that.
Yeah.
I just I've
No,
realized
it's all
like
me.
okay, I see I think I see where this conversation's going. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Can't help it. I
No,
can't
it's
help
all
it.
good. It's all good. I love
I'm-
getting lost in those moments.
I'm ministry.
All right. So, let us call it there. Which means we're going to have to end up getting a poll up. And ladies and gentlemen, we do experience a little bit differently. We don't have any stains to run about just yet. But we do experience a little bit differently here. So, there are 5 categories we are currently looking at. God, it's been a while since we've done this. All right, the first one, just showing up. Everybody gets 1 point of experience just for arriving. Congratulations, there's your participation trophy experience. There are 3 categories voted by the player base. That's who pushed the plot, who had the best scene, who had the best line. All right? But then there is one last point of experience. And that last point of experience comes down to you, the audience. You get to end up voting for which character ends up getting that bonus experience. You can end up using your channel points to end up being able to influence the vote. You can try and snipe the vote. You can end up trying to play it however you so wish. You don't have to justify your excuse. You don't have to worry about anybody's criteria other than your own. But it's a way for the audience to be able to reward the player that they, or the character that they end up feeling they really want to end up giving a leg up. So, with that being said, let's start off with the first one. Who pushed the plot?
No, I'm gonna go with. Honestly, I gotta give the shit to Adder. Honestly,
I would think it would be me or Adder because we were like, with the sire like pushing that point on, or me diving headfirst into a haunted house that wanted to eat me.
I mean, Adder wanted to check out the burning building first.
The burnt building.
Yeah.
Yep. The horror
I'll give
apartment. The horror apartment block. Yeah.
Yeah, so he kind of kicked off that shit.
All right. Okay. So we got